Oh,
Welcome to Multimedia Magicians. Thank you for turning on your cameras. Today we have a fun meeting planned, and let me introduce our Toastmaster for today, Nora Jackson. Nora, it's all you.
Thank you, Abaji. Good evening, Toastmasters, and especially magicians. Tonight, we're going to have a great meeting. The purpose of this group is to learn multimedia techniques like graphic, audio, video, music, podcasts, and apply these techniques to enhance your presentation, and communication, and leadership skills. Our timer for tonight is going to be Linda. And we're going to start the meeting off with lightning slides by Abaji Joshi. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nora. Today, actually, we are going to do PowerPoint karaoke. What does that mean? So you will see a slide. You have to speak 3 sentences, and then it will advance to the next slide. And you have to continue the theme of the first slide. Everyone will go through 2 slides at a time. So let's get started. Jane, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Let me open my screen. Okay.
Oh, here we are at the Indy 500, and one of the cars has caught on fire. This is so exciting. I hope, though, that everyone is going to be safe and get out of the car before anyone is really seriously hurt. Whoa. Oh, I see that the #1 fundraiser for President Obama, it turns out that she was in the car. I'm sorry to say this, and it went up in flames, just as she went up in flames as a fundraiser and as a politician. I am so sorry to announce the demise of Sarah Palin.
Thank you so much, Jane. Rashmi, you are up next, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm going to try, okay? Wow, what do I see? The world around. Definitely, that's my dream. I would like to go to one of those places which I have not been. And I'm from Africa. I'm from Kenya. So it's so interesting to safari. Well, God, enterprise, wow, where am I going? This is quite complicated for me. Pick of the islands and what all different illusions are being shown on the map. Oh boy. Okay, this is unexpected, I suppose. It's mind-boggling for me. I'm not in that field, by the way. So I'm in the medical field. This is pretty outrageous for me, but that's okay. I'm going to try my best.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. GA. Oh, come on. My slide is not advancing. Yeah.
What is that?
Give me one. My slide was not advancing. So
I would love to talk about the enterprise architecture.
Wow. Let's take it, please.
Give me 1 second, something. I'm still learning how to use my MacBook. I was in okay, let me see. Okay.
We hear it, yeah.
Oh, why is it not advancing my slide? Okay. Okay. GA, it's you.
Well, the devil is in the detail, and none of these fellows have a devilish heart. In fact, they're just devilish in their way in approaching their end goal. How many sentences did I say? Was that enough?
Yeah, enough. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to say that I do not recognize this particular elixir, but I suspect this is the cause of those little horns that are sprouting out of those men's heads. Because once you taste this, it is just going to create the devil out of you.
Perfect, GA. Victoria.
Mm,
This slide, Abhijit, is typical of what happens to the blood that's donated by everybody that goes to blood banks. And it's so vital that we all, if possible, donate blood or plasma that keeps the world going around. There are people who are ill. There are people who have need transfusions because of some medical procedure. And there are people who just need to have refreshes all the time. But in giving blood, if you let this creature get into your skin, they don't want it. So it's very, very important that you protect yourself with covering, with headgear, with anything that will, with long sleeves. But you still have to spray yourself, because if you get bitten by one of these, you've had it.
Perfect, Victoria. Great job. Laurie, you are up next.
I don't understand what I do.
Okay, you just speak whatever the slide you speak 3 sentences and then continue the theme for the next slide also. Okay,
All right.
Laurie, you're up.
Okay. You know, some of us don't know where to start. It's a big jungle out there. And as you see, this woman is very baffled as well, because she doesn't know where to start. She's done many things. Number of customers, customer value, where is the mass marketing? Where do you put your efforts? So please clap your hands slowly in unison, in rhythm, and don't stop until I say stop.
Great job.
Okay,
Ken.
stop.
Ken, you're up next. Ken.
No, I'm not ready.
Okay.
Today I'm just going to be a guest watching. Thanks.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Who would like to go next? Linda. Linda, you want to go next?
Yeah, okay, yeah,
perfect,
exactly.
I'll
That's,
slip, yeah.
okay. Oh, I saw this is very beautiful, something like the plant, or maybe something like the earth on the surface, right? It's so beautiful and with a heart. So let me think about, we needed to the lots of the environment. We need to pretend for the lots of the pollution, right? So that is our the human beings for with our heart, and also connected for this is picture. Even though this is a physical, is something like the heart is the graph, but that not, you do not just measure your heartbeat. That is connection. Our the last picture. Use our love, use our the heart, and
Perfect.
need more help for our health, earth, right? That is the connection for the mindset element together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great job, Linda. Great job. Who wants to go next?
let's see the stride.
Yes.
This one? Oh,
Yes, this one. Go ahead.
oh, this is in reference to our COVID. I would say regarding the mask, where how necessary it is. And on a different degree or elevation, it is being showing lower risk, medium risk, high risk, very high risk. So it shows, I would take it as I would better wear mask in order to protect ourselves from the COVID disease. So of concern, influence. This, to my knowledge, it shows that, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. To my knowledge, it shows the influence, how much PR you have, being in a society. The social media is very, very important. That's one of the good sign of your health too, and
Perfect.
avoids from your loneliness, depressions, and gives.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you. Judith, you're up next.
What's that? Oh, camera.
Here, yes. Sometimes we fail. Well, they say you have to fail in order to be better or move on. And I guess that is just one of those things right here. Oh dear.
Oh, boy.
Judith, continue. Yeah.
I am not sure what this is. Oh, this one is. This. Your TV will kill you. Well, absolutely. I totally agree with that. There are some certain things one should not watch on television because it will definitely kill you. It's not physically, but mentally, for sure.
Thank you so much, Judith. Thank you. Thank you. I'll now give it back to our Toastmaster. Nora, it's all you.
Thank you, Abaji, for those, not lightning slides, but what is the new name for those slides?
PowerPoint karaoke.
Oh, PowerPoint Reels. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to move on to the next portion of our meeting, and that is the prepared speeches. At this time, I want to remind you to mute your microphones so that the speaker is not interrupted. The first speaker tonight is Elaine. She's going to share her insights about failure. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about and practice facilitating a question and answer session. Elaine is presenting from the Dynamic Leadership Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback, speech number 2. The title, How to Fail. Elaine Lung, How to Fail.
Thank you, Nora. This is just a normal speech, 8 to 10 minutes, okay? We're not doing a Q&A, but just saying. And I am blurry, so let's start out with the failure. There we go. How to fail. I have been a student of improv for probably almost as long as I've been a Toastmaster. I first took improv classes in like around 2005, plus or minus a few years. Now, I want to ask you, does everyone know what improv is? When I say improv, I'm talking about improvisational theater classes. And this is an adult class locally called Comedy Sports. Has anyone ever taken an improv class, improvisational theater class? Okay, we've got a few. All right, well, let me take a minute and explain what that is. It is where it's a theater class where you're taught how to create a scene without a script by just looking at your partners on stage and figuring it out and how you play along with each other and create something that hopefully entertains the audience. You might have seen it on, I think it's Whose Line Is It Anyway? And right? Okay, so it's a TV show. So you can take classes for this. And you might say, well, that's kind of esoteric. That's kind of narrow. Who would want to do that? Well, actually, speakers are encouraged, professional speakers. I would encourage every Toastmaster to take an improvisational theater class. Why? Because it helps you learn how to fail and what to do when you fail. Not if, when you fail on stage. So just a question. Everybody here has spoken on stage. Is that a pretty safe assumption, right? You don't have to put your hand up. How often have you failed on stage? Yeah. Have you ever? I've failed on stage. Just think about that. And how does that feel? Uncomfortable. You go home and you go, oh, I could have done this, right? It happens to all of us. Now, imagine, if you will, this is a Comedy Sports class. I'm there on stage with a few of my scene partners, and we're trying to create a scene. It's a script, something out of nothing. And we're playing along, and it's just not working. Our coach, Ben, is in the front row watching us. Finally, he goes, look, In the next 30 seconds, I want to see a birth, a death, a transformation, something better happen, because this scene is boring. Talk about being put on the spot. We scrambled, we tried to do something. And eventually within the next minute or so, he called scene and we were done. We were off the stage. But it was a kind of a harsh lesson to be told in front of everyone that you're boring. But I learned this. I started to learn that at improv, the way we roll is if you're not failing, you're not doing improv. If you're not up, which means to fail, you need to try. So if you don't try, you don't fail, which is playing it safe. But in improv, we don't play it safe. We get up there and we try it. And if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't work, it didn't work. Because in improv, you're done. And you push and you're on to the next scene immediately. It gets your muscle built on how to fail quickly, and then how to get over it. How to say, okay, I failed. Woohoo. What's next? Because really, what difference does it make when you're just making a scene up on stage? Now, if you build that muscle on stage and you get comfortable on stage when things don't go exactly the way you want to, can that help you when you're speaking and presenting and having a conversation? I submit it does. So I submit to you, everybody here tonight, every Multimedia Toastmaster member and guest can benefit by incorporating some improv principles into your stage presence so that you can be more comfortable and effective connecting with the audience on stage. A few things for you to think about too. And how you handle failure and how you handle that failure on stage is integral to your growth. So we let's see, I think it was Judith who had a slide, right? About failing, the camera behind the sign. Failure, we've all heard it a million times. You got to fail so you can grow. But how you handle that failure is integral to how you grow. A very, very famous entrepreneur named Sarah Blakely invented a clothing product called Spanx. Anyone familiar with that? Yeah, okay, ladies are. And it's a foundation garment, it's underwear. And it's she became incredibly rich because of this. Now she has a very interesting story. She said this, when she was growing up, her dad said this. Her dad encouraged her to fail. Her dad said, what did you fail at this week? When they were around the dinner table at night, he would say, what did you fail at this week? And her dad said, if we didn't have something, he would be disappointed that we didn't have something that we failed at this week. And that changed her mindset, she says. Sarah says, it changed my mindset at an early age, that failure is not the outcome. Failure is not trying. So don't be afraid to fail. It's the same lesson as in improv. If you're not failing, you're not improvising. You've got to try. So get used to trying and failing and working past that. So I like that. I think it's great. I can fail a lot. I'm good at that, right? But how do you handle that failure? How do you grow through it? Well, Abi gave a great speech at a different club a few weeks ago. And this quote he brought out, which I think perfectly illustrates one thing that we can all try to do to help ourselves deal with failure. It's by a man named Jiddu Krishnamurti. He said this, the highest form of human intelligence is the ability to observe without judging. I'll say it again. The highest form of human intelligence is the ability to observe without judging. Because, I say this because when I fail, I tend to judge myself. Do you judge yourself when you fail? Or when things don't go the way you want? The Monday morning quarterbacking, if you will. Oh, I could have, I should have. You should on yourself. I should have done this or that when you fail. Can you observe yourself without judging as a way to help yourself recover? Well, learn from the failure and then move ahead. when we get hung up on our failures and get stuck, that's where we don't have to be. We can learn from the failure and keep moving forward towards what we want. So one way that I learned to be able to observe without judgment was from one of my coaches, Gloria. And this is what she taught me. It's got 5 steps. The first step is, let's say you fail or something's not going the way, you're not feeling the way you wanted to feel. You stop and you notice that it happened. You say, oh, I noticed I failed, or I feel like I failed, or I'm hesitating here. This feels like a failure. So you notice it. The second thing you do is you acknowledge it and you own it. You say, I really did that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to ignore this and say, no, I didn't do it. I'm going to say, yeah, I did. I failed, or I felt like a failure here. The third thing you do is you ask yourself what you need. You say, okay, I failed. I own it. I really did say that. So what do I need here? You ask yourself what you need, and then you listen to yourself, because you'll know what you need. Then you give yourself what you need, and then you move forward. Here's an example. I was at a networking event and it was intimidating. It was the kind of event where you're with the other people in your industry, so you need to show up 110% yourself, dressed up and ready and sparkly, your sparkly best, and kind of didn't feel it that day. So I was about to hit the Zoom button to log on, and I said, I just don't feel like doing this today. And then instead of hitting the button and go, oh, I didn't say that, I said, okay, stop, wait, I did say that. I did feel that, I own it. Okay, well, what do I need? I just needed to acknowledge it, honestly. And then I said, well, how about a hug? So I gave myself a hug. Sounds corny, but that's what I needed at that moment. I honored it. And I said, okay, what's next? And I said, well, now I feel like I can proceed and hit the button and go to this meeting. And I did. And I was really glad I went. It was great. I learned something that day. I mean, not just getting on the meeting, getting to that point, but at the meeting itself, it benefited me to be with other people and to learn and grow from it. So that's the 5 steps I highly recommend you try. So get out there and fail as much as you can, the lesson of improv, because another quote is the willingness to be terrible is the price we pay to be amazing. Because we don't know which scene is going to be amazing or terrible when we're creating it in improv. However, we need to try to get there. Don't be afraid of failure. Acknowledge it, move forward through it, and learn from it, and keep going. Because failure is just, like Sarah Blakely said, it's another stepping stone on the way to where you want to go. Don't be afraid to fail. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Next on the program, we're going to have a round robin evaluation feedback. Timer 4 to 6 minutes maximum. I'd like to call on Pooja. Would you like to give some feedback to Elaine?
Sure. Thank you so much for calling on me, Nora. Elaine, it was, just move this so I can see you. So it was another fabulous speech, Elaine. And the thing I want to tell you is, I've seen you through the speeches that I have seen you through, many of them. And here's what I appreciate the most about the way you deliver. You are naturally very good at your enunciation, the tone, the pace, your expressions. You are really feeling what you're saying. Your eye contact with the camera, spot on every time. And at the end of every speech, I go away feeling that you carried it so well. You came across naturally. You're not trying. It just came naturally. That's what I always admire about the way you speak. And the thing that I would challenge you to do actually stems from that you make it seem so natural And I feel my interpretation is that you are just naturally delivering the speech and you're not memorizing this or having a very, a lot of points that you're focusing on saying in the exact same way. And that, I think, is where you can go to the next level. I don't know how you are going to do that and still sound natural. That's the challenge. But and I'll tell you why I felt that way. When you started your speech, you spoke about joining improv, taking an improv class, and I was very, very engaged, and trying to picture myself doing whatever it is that you were asking us to do, failing and all of that. But as you progressed into talking about why failure is good, it kind of felt like those points did not tie into your first story. Even like I didn't write down everything, but the first thing you said is how you handle failure. And maybe that you could have weaved that into the story of, standing there on the stage and your coach telling you and how you kind of worked with that. Or maybe that story carries through those 5 points, something like that. So that there's a little more structure to those. And I know I'm like taking a long time, but I'm just going to end with the ending where you said that at the end, there's another quote from improv. So it felt like you were wrapping up, but then you gave us another quote and then you did a wrap up again. So that kind of threw me off. However, I don't want this to change the way you are so natural. So I don't know, you need to marry the two. But thank you for another amazing speech. And I can't wait for your next one. Back to you, Nora.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Just a reminder, we only have like a minute per person because we want to get feedback from a few people here today. Next, Shay, would you give us some feedback for Elaine?
Sorry, did you ask for me?
Shia, yes.
Okay, thank you. Elaine, there were several things that stood out for me. That story of Sarah, the founder of Spanx, where the father asked, "What did you fail at this week?" Oh my gosh, that is so profound. That's a terrific dinner table conversation that I think I will share with others. Thank you so much for sharing that nugget of information. And in fact, there were several other nuggets that I felt were really great and to be experienced by others. But I'd like to invite you at this moment to think about phrasing. So when you hear of a musical composition, there's typically, this type of pattern, bell curve pattern, where you start and you go to the crescendo and you fall, and then the performer would take a breath and then move on. One of the things that I felt missing from your speech was that taking a breath, so that we, as the receiver of your information, can digest and just kind of like lock that in before you go on to that next point. Thank you so much, Elaine. And I see the yellow light. So back over to you, Nora.
Okay, thank you. Can we rush and squeeze in one more? Victoria, would you give some feedback? Quick.
Thank you, Elaine, very much for a very well presented speech. It was easy to listen to and it gave us a lot of information. I thought, however, there was one angle that you could have included in your talk today. You certainly did. You were talking about failure and particularly how it makes you feel, or makes a person feel, if they have failed, and trying to encourage people not to be afraid of failure. I think that you've missed an opportunity there, particularly as a Toastmaster, to talk about feedback and how you can apply that feedback through self-reflection and then analysing what your own circumstances to what somebody else might have given you, and then applying it for future. That was the thing I thought perhaps was missing from your speech, because the rest of it was very entertaining and very worthwhile listening to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What time? All right, so we're going to move on, and Elaine has placed in the chat that she would be happy to hear from you all with some feedback. So you can put some feedback into the chat for Elaine. And we will move on to our next speaker. And that will be Abhijit. Abhijit is working on Strategic Relationships Level 4, question and answer session. The title of Abhijit's speech is Making Dynamic Presentation Using OBS. The purpose of the project is for the member to learn about and practice facilitating a question and answer session. Abhijit, making dynamic presentations using OBS.
Thank you so much, Nora. Normally, if I have to do a presentation, I have to share my screen and I have to share my PowerPoint. But when I do that, if you see, my window becomes very small. And my PowerPoint is like 95% of my screen is PowerPoint. But we can change that through OBS. What we can do is we can use this real estate space to do our presentation. And today I'm going to share that one way of doing it. This is what we will learn how to do a presentation. Give me 1 second. Let me change my camera so that you can see. So this is the way. Now, if I'm doing a presentation, I have my slide deck and everything. And I can use this real estate. I have my picture on this side, and I can do a presentation like this, where I still have 50% of the real estate. When I share a screen, I only have 5% of the real estate. How can we do that? Let's find out. So this is going to be a demonstration how to use Open Broadcaster software. I'm using Open Broadcaster software. I'll walk you through step by step. And this is also being recorded, so you will have a copy of this recording. Let's get it started. I'm going to share my screen so that you get an idea what I'm doing on my screen. Give me 1 second. Let me go back to my normal camera. Okay. So this is my OBS software. Okay. Right now I'm going to remove everything so that I will start from scratch. What I did was first is 2 things. Okay. I downloaded OBS software. It's a free software. You just go to Google, you say Open Broadcaster software, and you download it. So that is one thing. The next thing which I'm doing is I have a presentation which is already ready. Okay, you can have your, I've created my presentation in such a way that I have picture on one side and I have a blank space on the other side because I want to stand on the blank space. So you can create this kind of a presentation. I think you know how to use a PowerPoint, but one thing I want to share with you is I want you to have that window as a smaller window, and there is a setting for that. Because when I go here, like I'll show you, because I had to learn these settings, because if I don't have this setting, then it will not be able to do it. So click slideshow and set up for slideshow. There is this option browsed by an individual window. Instead of full screen, make sure you highlight this, because this will help you when you are during your PowerPoint presentation, and I'll show you each and everything. Okay. So this is the one thing which I did not know that. So I was like, I had to learn, okay, why is it not happening? And the next thing what I'm doing is Another thing I learned is when I download the OBS software, don't have it full window, because if you have full window, then you will not be able to pull things in. So another same thing, remember, have it in a smaller window. Now, once I download it, I'm using a green screen. Now, first of all, I want in this OBS, I'm going to load my FaceTime or my camera from the laptop. How do you do it? So you go to the plus sign, you go to the video capture device. I go to the video capture device, I say, okay. And now I have to select a device. So I select a device, it's FaceTime high definition camera. Okay. Reopen. I think my OBS unexpectedly quit. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you can try the ignore option and then
Ignore,
close it.
yeah. Okay. Ignore. No, it's not closing. Let me see if I can. This is okay. So now, okay, I'll reload it again. Go to plus sign, add video capture, click OK. And I'm going to, yeah. The one thing I did not have that time is, okay, I'm loading the FaceTime camera. Now see if you can see it has loaded my camera. I'm going to remove one of this. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the filters. Okay. So my filter is, because I'm using a green screen, I can add that filter, the chroma key. Remember, it's chroma key. Okay. And I'm going to load the color green because my background is green color. So I already have the default as green. Okay. So now I have a black background. Now I'm going to load my PowerPoint presentation on this. So I go to plus sign again. Now I do Windows capture. I click OK. Okay. Now I'm going to load my PowerPoint here. So now you can see that there is the PowerPoint and I am behind it. I want to bring my video in front. So I'll just use this arrows. So now you can see that I brought my camera in front and my PowerPoint is behind me. I need to adjust this windows right now. You can see that my windows are not of the same size. I'll just adjust them. So once you adjust this windows, you are ready for it. Give me 1 second. Let me adjust more. And you can have your window of different sizes. I can have my window small like this and I can put it like this here. So that is another way you can do it, or you can have it full screen, however you want it. So once I have my windows, And I can have my screen here. Give me 1 second. Okay. And now when I go to my Zoom, I change my camera actually. I will stop this one sharing and I'll move to my. The one thing I have to do is I have to start virtual camera on my OBS. I start my virtual camera. And then when I go on Zoom, it gives me an option to change it to my OBS camera. See now, I have my presentation on one side and I have myself on the one other side. So this really helps. It makes it very easy. I also have my Zoom window small. I don't have it full screen and have my PowerPoint presentation on the side, because when I have it on the side, it helps me to advance my slide deck automatically. Like I have my clicker in my hand and I can advance my slide deck. So it really helps me out. So this is just a demonstration of how to use OBS. And now I'm open to any questions you may have. Anyone? Yes. Yeah. Elaine, Laurie. Okay, Elaine, go ahead
I
first.
have one. Yeah, so sometimes I like to point at things on my slides. And
Yes.
can you do that in this?
Not in OBS. I don't think so. I can do that. I cannot point it directly. I have to use a cursor. But yeah, but you have to keep in mind that when you change something, it's like your clicker will not work. Okay. Like suppose if I click on my Zoom window and then, because I need to have my PowerPoint live in the sense highlighted, then I can change my slides. Right now, I cannot change my slides because it's not highlighted.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you have to use the keyboard?
Yes, yes. So now what I did, now I highlighted my PowerPoint window and now I can change the slides.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to point at something like some detail on the slide, you could actually reach over with your finger, right? But you have to look at your screen.
Yes. Oh yeah, I can do it. Actually, I can use it when I'm in the full screen. Like if I change myself, okay, if what I do is I mostly, if I have to point it, what I do is I make my screen full. Okay. And because of that, I can just use my hands like a weather channel, you know. How do they do the weather channel? They do the pointing and I can do the same thing right now. I'll show you. Like if I want to point through her glasses, okay. So if I have to point to her glasses, I can do it here.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that's fun. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like you're standing in front of a slide screen and you can actually point at things in advance.
Yes.
Very
yes.
cool.
Yeah. Yep. Laurie, you had a question?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure you're going to be emailing those. Are you to, or how are you going to send your your presentation?
Can you repeat that question? Like this presentation?
Or yes.
Okay, I'm going to upload it on YouTube and I'll share the YouTube link with you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, perfect. Linda, you had a question?
Yes, thank you, Alvin, for the demonstration. It's a good presentation. I have one point is not very clearly. So the one steps when you download your PowerPoint through the OPS, right? And you adjusted the screen with your the Zoom meeting. So what is the step you adjust the picture and match what your size?
Oh, Miss, you are saying is how I am adjusting my
that's
windows.
A step. Yeah.
See, here. So here I can.
After you upload, right? Download.
Yes.
How to adjust? This is the step. How to use adjust the screen the size in the Zoom.
Oh, Zoom, it automatically see in Zoom, I don't have to adjust anything. All the adjustments that happen here. Like if I do something, all the adjustments are happening here. Okay.
It is still on the OBS.
Yes,
right?
it's still on the OBS. Everything is on the OBS. It doesn't happen. The Zoom, I don't do anything. I just load my camera in Zoom.
Yeah, that is, I think
Yes.
I cannot adjust on the Zoom. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. You cannot adjust on Zoom. Okay. Now I've made it full window rather than small window. And now I can point it towards her, what she's doing or anything. Okay. Yes, Stephen.
Thank you. Now that you're an expert and you've done this several times, what are the big three? What are the top three things that you had to learn through and struggle through? You're like, man, I'm glad I know this now that you could shortcut for us.
Yes, I'll tell you. Okay, the first
Smaller
thing.
windows.
Yes, smaller windows. Like I didn't know my OBS window needed to be smaller. And then I didn't know how to get the PowerPoint window smaller in what we say in Mac. I had to learn that. And one of the biggest things is you need a computer which is a little bit faster. You know, I have my Windows, it jams, like the processing power of that laptop was not good. So my video was not coming live. It was like stopping and going. So I changed it to MacBook and MacBook Pro, and now it's smooth. Yes. Another thing I want to say is I had to make an investment of $18 for the green screen. It's just $18. It's not, it's like minimal investment on, yeah. Amit, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Abhijit, for that wonderful, informative presentation. I had a couple of questions. Number one is about the media. Like, let's say you have images in your presentation, but if you have a media file that you want to play in your presentation, does that still play on your virtual camera?
It can, but I need to learn that. I have not done it. So yeah, it can,
Okay.
it can play media because I was taught in that way. Yeah, we can play media and everything, videos and everything.
Okay.
Because actually everything is happening in the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why we can do anything. Yeah.
Okay. And second thing is, I guess this software OBS, this virtual camera that you have, it works not just for Mac, it also works for Windows operating systems.
Yes, I use for both systems.
Okay, and you have similar performances on both of them, right?
Yes. Make sure your Windows laptop is also high performance. Yeah.
Okay. And I think green does not have to be a default color for the background, right? So let's say we have a white wall or something as a background with a door or something as an opening. You can use that image. Does it recognize that image is a static and a background and just cancel it out itself, or does it have to be done manually?
You need green screen because then only you can have your background.
Okay. So we need a green screen for sure.
Yes,
okay.
We need a green screen. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for a very informative presentation.
Thank you so much. Elaine?
Yeah, so with the green screen, you have to have some decent lighting, right? Or do you do anything special with your lighting? That's
Yes.
I have a
I'll show you my lighting, but yeah, let me see if I can show you my lighting. So I have professional lighting. So I have like I'm in a garage, but I have like 2 diffused light coming on my face. So yeah, I made an investment 2 years ago for $58, and it's like every day when I'm doing Toastmasters, I'll be here. So it's worth the investment.
That's great. Is that LED or fluorescent? I didn't catch it.
Oh, it's just a normal light. You know, it's like, okay, it's just like a diffused light. Okay, I'll just close it so you can see the light. Oh, I think.
Okay. Well, all right. I see it now. It's one of
Gosh, you have a regular huge studio.
Yeah.
Professional.
That's cool. I like that. And second question is, are you using a separate camera from your laptop, your MacBook? Is there a third?
Yeah.
You have a separate camera?
There is, but my MacBook Pro has 1080p camera. So I have a Canon nice DSLR camera. I can also use that, but my MacBook Pro camera is wonderful. And I don't think so I need to use that one.
Got it. So that's what you're using. This is the MacBook camera you're using right now.
Yes.
Okay. And you're just loading that. The OBS goes through that.
Yes.
You have to load that into Zoom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
I have a question, Abhijit.
Sure.
What was that you said? How much did you invest to get the lighting?
Lighting, $58.
Wow.
Yeah, $58 for 2 lights, and yeah.
That was 2 years back. So
2 years back. Now it's maybe 65 to 70. Yeah, but I can send you the link if you want that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no other questions, back to you, Nora.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you. And we're going to have a round robin. Are we going to do a round robin to get feedback too? Oh, on your presentation. Right. Where will we start? Who would like to give some feedback? Judith. Is Judith here?
I've just downloaded this OBS, and I have no idea if I actually really want to do this. But in any case, I think that I was confused because there were just too many things on the screen which I did not understand. So I think that it would have been a good idea to have all this done before this presentation, so things would be a little bit easier, as opposed to figuring it out right there, because I just was confused about the whole thing. So, I mean, it sounded interesting, but I'm still not sure exactly how this actually works, but I'll figure it out somehow. So that's my thoughts on this, but sounds very interesting. So I'm interested in the technology, so I will look into it at some point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Stephen, would you like to give some feedback?
Yes, ma'am. I would. Abhijit was kind enough to ask me to offer some round robin feedback, so I'll do my best. Abhijit, I loved the fact that you actually did start to finish instructions. I think one of the things that often happens in my own experience is that people make assumptions about what everyone knows. That can be difficult when people actually don't know those things. And so I really did enjoy the start to finish. I did think you missed an opportunity, especially whenever you're doing training or technical stuff. Like Judith mentioned, sometimes bad stuff happens. And so it might have been a good opportunity there to work in some humor about how, how every speech goes perfectly well or something to that nature. And it's like, it really would have been a great opportunity there. In the end, I want to close by saying that I really appreciated the speech in general. I love learning new tools, especially ones that I can actually try to use and incorporate. So thank you very much for sharing.
And can we get one more? Is that Sandy?
Yes.
Okay, Sandy.
So the first thing I'd like to say is I love the basic subject. I think that is an extreme shortcoming of working on Zoom. I don't know how often I'm sitting there making the little slider going back and forth. I see their slide. I want to see their face. This is Toastmasters. The person is supposed to be presenting. And I feel it's a real fundamental shortcoming that you've addressed. So that's the first thing. The one opportunity I think you missed is you had a PowerPoint presentation in the background. That PowerPoint presentation could have had bullets of exactly what you were saying and explaining. So you could have been having the written words to read, backing up what you were saying. And then, you would have been working at several levels, right? You would be actually doing what you were trying to explain. So those are my two thoughts on it. Thanks. I'm going to look into it and figure out how to do it myself. But I think you gotta, grab that last little piece and it'll be great.
Okay. Thank you, Sandy. I think we have time for one more short feedback before we move on. Okay, Lori.
I'm on my iPad. I just appreciate watching this, and I'm going to watch it again. And every time I see it, it doesn't look so daunting. Looks like maybe something I can do. My computer is not working right now, so I'm on my iPad. Have you ever tried it on a mobile device?
No, this is not from mobile device. No.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Now it's time for the general evaluation of our meeting today. Shia, would you please tell us how the meeting went?
Folks, this was a really well executed meeting. It ran like clockwork. And thanks to you, Nora, you really managed just a job of keeping everyone on track and making sure that we're starting and stopping at the targeted times. That really worked. And I also like how you queued up each of the speakers by preparing all of the introductions. One thing that we all can do when we give our round robin evaluation is to take a sneak peek at the pathways evaluation sheet and see what the project objective was, so that we can comment, or someone amongst the several round robin evaluators can hit on those objectives and whether or not the speaker met those objectives or not. I've noticed that this club really has strong evaluators, or the folks that, including guests. So the round robin is a really essential and interesting part of our meeting. If you can just sneak in that bit of pathways, we'll be more Toastmasters compliant. And I think I will wrap up my general evaluations at this, because it was a really well-run meeting. Thank you. Back over to you, Nora.
Nora, you're muted.
Thank you, Chia. Thank you for your evaluation. And at this time, I would like to see, did we have guests, and get the guest feedback at this time? Chi.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, Stephen. Okay.
Well, it was a pleasure joining this evening. I was really happy to get the invitation. I found this through an email that was directed to me and was very intrigued when I saw that there was a multimedia tool that I could be using. I was excited because I could easily see how I could incorporate this into my work as well as my Toastmasters journey. So I was super excited about the content in general. I will say it's been an awesome experience. Your meetings do run very well. I was excited to see that. They seem quite polished. Everyone seems energetic and excited to be here. So it was a wonderful experience for me overall.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll.
Oh, Jeffrey?
Yes, so
Okay.
I was very interested to see the presentations in your meeting. As the general evaluator pointed out, your meeting was really well executed. I've been in another Toastmasters group, over a study group Toastmasters, for about five or 6 years. I really liked the way that your club was organizing material. I thought that the presentation on compositing the video backgrounds and improving the way that we can have ourselves plus a presentation was very important. I'm going to practice that and probably share that with people over in our sales organization over the next couple of days. So well done, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Daisy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm a guest, first time,
Okay.
and thank you so much for inviting me. I got an email from Abhijat. Yes, thank you for inviting me, and I love your speech. So much information, and of course, Elaine's speech is wonderful, and I like your visual, the color, and your voice. So both speeches are excellent. Thanks for inviting me, and I would like to visit you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rashmi.
I hear.
Yeah. Oh, hi. I'm Rashmi, and by the way, I belong to Mentry Talks, and I'm thankful to for the invite from Abhijit. It was a very sleek meeting and very interesting. I really loved it and learned all the PowerPoints, the numeric AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, the power of it, how you use in the Toastmaster was very, very slick. And especially like Abhijit's idea of the PowerPoint karaoke introduction, which I'm going to carry to my meeting. It's amazing. And your evaluators and all the participants had a great evaluation for the Elaine's speech. And Elaine's speech, I learned something that usually the kid is sitting on a table at the family dinner, daddy would say, what was the best part of your day today? But Elaine's was the reverse, and it was very interesting. Thank you so much for the invite, Abhijit.
Thank you. Thank you. And before we close the meeting, I'd like to say, do we have any more visitors? Because our time is there.
Yes, me.
Who said that? Okay.
And I do too. I just want to say quickly.
Just me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, yes. Thank you for inviting me. Oh, am I supposed to? No, no.
Yes,
Okay.
go on. Go on. We're just at time now. So if you could, you're welcome to speak. Yes, go on. Because it.
Anyway, it's all right. It's not.
Okay, so at this time, sorry, we were running out of time. We'll adjourn the meeting, but if you'd like to stay after, it's fine. We'd love to hear about your feedback because sometimes people have another meeting to go to. So I'll adjourn the meeting at this time. Guests, you're welcome to come back. And what we are looking for is we're looking for you to join our club. You can learn more things by joining Multimedia Toastmasters and becoming a regular member. So that's what we're looking for. So thank you. So those of you have to leave. If the other guests would like to stay and talk about it, then we'll be here for a few minutes. Have a lovely holiday.